Fish on Fridays. I'm Al McCauley, and I'm taping this particular episode as we are knocking on the door to Advent, the beginning of our liturgical new year. And every Advent, we're reminded to be watchful, to be awake, to be alert, to pay attention. And today I want to focus on those themes through a piece of art that is not overtly Catholic at all. It's a wonderful piece of art from the late 1800s, right around 1870, and it's called Girl Listening. And the artist's name is Johann Georg Meyer van Bremen. And it's just an interesting piece to look at. And again, there's nothing about it that would make you think this is a Catholic or even a Christian piece of art. And yet, I think there's a lot of lessons that we can take from this particular piece of art and apply them to our Advent sensibilities of being awake and being prepared. If you notice in the painting, the girl seems engaged in what I would call as active listening. She's peering beyond the door to something that's drawn her attention. And it's so intriguing that it's drawn her attention away from her chores. You can see that she's got a little paring knife and an apple that she's peeling. And, you could make a connection to the apple and the fruit of the forbidden tree from Genesis, early parts of Genesis 3, that maybe she's discarding her sin because she wants so badly to pay attention to what's coming in her world. That's one way of looking at that. Or it could just be that she's so curious that she's put her chores on the back burner, so to speak. But if you look at her face, there's some flushed cheeks going on, and she's got like this half smile, like there's this idea of a deep concentration, an intense focus on something that you and I can't see as the viewer of this piece of painting, of this piece of art. It almost looks like there's a sense of innocence about her and wonder. And I think that's one of the things we should do with Advent, is we should be approaching this liturgical season with a sense of wonder that Christ came as a human, as a baby 2,000 years ago, that Christ continues to come in each of us so that we can bring Christ to others. And then we remember that Christ will come again in the future. So there's a past, present, and future thrust to Advent, if you will. But I love the fact that this painting, there's this like almost an engaging dynamic between the girl and the viewer and whatever lurks on the other side of the door. And we don't know what that is. I mean, we're left to our own devices to ponder it. But I think what I love about this painting the most is the girl's face, at least to me, she has a look of eager anticipation. And I think that's one of the main lessons of this painting with regard to Advent, is that do we approach this season with eager anticipation, or is it just another chore to get done before Christmas? If I just get the Christmas cards done, if I just get the cookies baked, if I just get the shopping done and the presents wrapped, et cetera, et cetera. To live in the moment, to exist, not just to live in the moment, not just to exist and go through it and try to get beyond it. I think that's interesting. And to call us, I think this painting calls us to listen attentively to the voice of God. It's not always easy to do that, our spiritual lives. As evidence in this painting, we can't see what's calling this girl's attention on the other side. And sometimes that's true. God is revealing himself to us, but sometimes it's beyond even what's immediately visible to us. And so we need to listen. We need to carve out time of quiet to pay attention. Maybe turn the radio off on the car ride to work one day a week. Maybe at the end of the day, instead of scrolling through your phone one last time, just put it aside for 10 minutes just to examine, where have you seen God in your day? Through whom have you seen God? And have you been that example of God to others? Something to think about, just to remain open, to remain curious, to remain ever vigilant and awake and prepared for Christ's coming again. And that's the whole thrust again from Advent. So anyway, this is a beautiful piece of art to kind of get your Advent reflection going, hopefully. Hopefully it's inspired you, and maybe you want to share this content. That would be great. We'd love it. We'd also love it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Facebook. But either way, I hope you keep tuning in every Friday for Fish on Fridays. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay awake, be alert, be prepared, and God bless.